Welcome to the Scoop World Order. Happy Sunday. It's Michigan week. Time to beat Michigan, beat the team up north. We're going to review a fantastic win versus a good Indiana team yesterday. Ryan was fit to be tied. He got after him pretty good. I loved it. Doesn't bode well for Michigan. Beating Northwestern, scoring 50 versus them is a whole different world than playing the Bucks. So really excited about it. Will Johnson is not playing, which again, we predicted that a long time ago. He does not want the smoke, so it's not surprising. We have a massive David Sanders Jr. update, so we're going to get into all of that. We're going to take your questions as well, break down some All-22 film, and get this thing rolling along. As always, we appreciate you guys. We're very thankful and grateful for you guys as we begin Thanksgiving week, one of the best weeks of the year, obviously. Short work week. Black Friday actually is an NFL game now, so it's going to be a great week. Again, we just appreciate all the support you guys give us. Again, it gives us an easy reason for us to go hard and work hard and get the best information. Best in class is what we do here at Buckeye Scoop. So we know that the folks are really, really astute, the smartest Buckeye fans, the sharpest Buckeye fans. So we bring the heat for you guys each and every night, and we appreciate you guys showing up, bringing huge energy to the chat as always. Again, the chat is always excellent. You guys always have excellent questions as well, so we appreciate that. Again, with our Pay It Forward, which is our super chat feature, it goes to signing up first responders, military members, veterans, and we've done a ton of that thanks to you guys. So we appreciate you guys helping us out, helping them out. It's been an excellent experience. If you guys want a great Christmas gift, you want to beat Black Friday, there's nothing better than BuckeyeScoop.com. Get a membership. Get it for people that you love. Get it for people that love Ohio State or people that just love college football. It's an incredible message board, very active, great constituents that you guys would love being a member. If you're not, and if you like the show and like this chat, the message board is the genesis of everything. It's the heart of everything. So why not take the plunge? I think you guys would love it. If you guys have any questions, please send me an email, buckeyescoop@gmail.com. But we have a ton of recruiting content on there. A lot of day-to-day stuff, what's going on inside the Woody Hayes inside information. It's all first on our message board. We break it there first. So again, I'd love to have you guys join our community because it's incredible. It's an excellent group of people. We thank you guys for that. Again, if you enjoy this content, something you can do that really help us is subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts and also Spotify. Those are starting to do a little bit of work. So you guys are heeding the call. You guys are really helping us out. It's an area that we've frankly neglected. And you guys are helping us kind of unneglected, which is not really a word, but I made it up. But again, I appreciate you guys kicking it with us every night. We're gonna get into the show because this is a big one. I mean, this is like setting an all-star lineup on a baseball team. You know, when you've got like Ken Griffey Jr. and you've got Jim Thome and you've got all these like superstars, and you get to pick the batting order. It's like, Nevada, where would you like to start? We've got a huge David Sanders Jr. update. We've got obviously a lot of Indiana intel, some early Michigan intel for the game plan. What are your thoughts? Where would you like to start tonight?
Why don't we start with the David Sanders stuff? Because I know, we don't usually cover, I mean, we cover recruiting, but, with the way that recruiting goes, it's a little bit fluid. So it's rare that you get kind of an update that's as timely and is kind of out of the blue and as important as this one. So why don't we go with a little David Sanders information? I'll tell you what I know, and then Kirk can you tell him what you know, and then we'll just kind of compare notes because we haven't really had a chance to pre-show a lot today because I know you've been working and I've been running around. And so here's what I know. What I know is that David Sanders and family reached out to Ohio State and somewhat out of the blue and said, we want to come visit. We want to come examine. We want the interest by David Sanders in the medical school and the path to medicine for him is absolutely sincere. It wasn't just a talking point. It wasn't just a thing. Like, he really wants to know about that. They had done their research on Tennessee where he committed and determined that, maybe the medical school there wasn't quite as up to snuff as it is at Ohio State, and wanted to come in, wanted to check out, and wanted to come on to kind of an extended visit. So how does Ohio State respond? Well, they bring in Monica Johnson. I believe Monica Daniels now, but Monica Paris Johnson's mom, who's really close to the family. She comes. They roll out the red carpet. They've got Ross Bjork on it. They've got Ryan Day on it. They've got Justin Fry on it. They roll it all out. And from the information that I have, I think they're getting him. I think they're getting David Sanders. I think he's going to flip to Ohio State for a lot of reasons, including the fact that Jimmy Simmons is gone to the NFL next year. Obviously, Josh Fryer's out of eligibility. We've got 2 tackle spots open, and so the field is there. Ohio State's the hot team, and the medical school opportunity is, I'm not saying it's second to none, but it sure as heck is better than what you've got at Tennessee. So I expect David Sanders to be a part of the OSU recruiting class. So that's what I got. I'll throw it back to my big cuddly partner, and you can tell me what you got.
The big cuddly angry grizzly bear. I like that. The big cuddly bear. No, yeah, it's interesting because when you hear kind of how they laid everything out, and with David Sanders Jr., I mean, he's got real parents. I mean, 2 really sharp parents, so you're not going to get one over on them. But Monica, I always talk about Monica Johnson and how much I revere her. Monica Daniels, she's married to Mike Daniels, who was actually my teammate in an All-Star game, which is amazing. But the smartest parent in the history of Ohio State football in terms of she knew she had a plan. No one was going to push back on her plan. She knew what she had in Paris, obviously from his physical. Gifted physically, obviously, his mentality, how the kid, he's like JJ Smith. Like, I mean, he's here for business. This is not a pleasure cruise for those guys. And she wanted him to graduate in 3 years. Obviously, wanted him to go pro in 3 years. Wanted to get him into graduate school and also have Ohio State pay for it, which she got that in writing. Again, like, you're not getting one over on Monica, because Monica came up in the game when she met Paris Johnson Sr. They went to Miami of Ohio. She saw how kids were exploited, and again, not in a bad way by the football team, but it's just the nature of the machine that is college football. So she learned, she helped out as an academic advisor at Miami, so she saw the inner workings. She wasn't just a girlfriend that was there kicking it; she was there learning, and she's been around the game. She knows the game. So again, Monica isn't like the normal parent that you deal with that's just happy for a pair of free tickets and a sideline pass. Like, she's the one that's got real questions, and she wanted real answers. And there were teams like Ed Warner in Michigan that screwed the process up, and she told them basically to F off. Like, I mean, she took Paris up there, and we'd love to have your kid, but she wanted this very, very detailed presentation that literally would take a weekend to make if you're some young GA or some offensive line coach. And Ed didn't take it seriously, and she was not playing around when all of a sudden the presentation she won wasn't done. So again, this is like a graduate level program where all of a sudden you say, hey, I'm not going to do my term paper, I'm not going to take my final exam. Well, you're going to fail, and Michigan failed because of that, and Jim Harbaugh couldn't take the toothpaste and put it back in the tube. So this is a lady that I think that the Sanders family is very tight with. I think that they trust them. And again, I've said this before, like, why, if you're like a settler, if you're settling a new continent, why would you not go to the continent that's got a city built with, electricity and plumbing, or you could go to some place where they've never done that, or they don't do it very often? Because again, that's the thing, like with Ohio State, it's like, look, if you're Tyler Atkinson and you're like, well, I want to be a blitzing linebacker, and I want to be a superstar pass rusher, and I want to be featured. I'm like, well, Cody Simon had 2.5 sacks. He is our top blitzer. But Sonny had 2 sacks last week. So again, if you're a guy that can get home in the pass rush, where would be a better home than Ohio State? And that's one to watch. Watch closely. The Atkinson clan, very, very good family, very, very good kid. He's the best player in the country for his class. He's a 20. He's got another year left in high school. But these guys do work. And again, we do a good job of presenting everything, but the product on the field speaks for itself. The quality of the character of the kids speaks for itself. That's a big credit to Ryan Day. But with a kid like Dave Sanders Jr., and again, the people that I feel the worst for are all of the people that we told not to dive off the bridge when David Sanders committed to Tennessee. And Nevada and I sit here because again, we're slicker than the average. We've been around the block a few times. And I was like, let's wait till the season's over. Let's see how this goes. Because again, the one thing that I know about football and a season is there's always expectations, there's always projections, and a lot of times there's things that can go sideways. So frankly, when you look at, Ohio State is the hottest team in the country. They're ascending. And frankly, a team like Tennessee isn't. Some of these kids commit to there were kids that were like debating between going to Ohio State and Florida State in the preseason, because Florida State was preseason top 5. And I mean, the wheels have fallen off the wagon, and the wagon's been lit on fire at this point. And so, stay on these kids, because again, like, kids want to play for a winner. The parents want to be a part of a good culture. The parents are excellent around Ohio State. They do a great job of selling the program. But David Sanders Jr. he's an elite talent. And again, give a lot of credit to Justin Fry. People were beating Justin to death after the Akron game, and a bunch of games that I just don't even care about. They're fodder. They're the parsley next to the steak. People are like, well, my parsley's too green, I don't like it. Like, who cares? We've got the steak. The steak is the program, how we do in big games. Like I said, even the Oregon game. I mean, Kirk Barton, who we beat yesterday, he sat at that microphone. He said, they lost to the number 1 team on the road due to a very questionable offensive pass interference. So that's not me in Nevada, scarlet glasses on, sunshine pumpers. Like, we get called some of the dumbest names. Like, people say, you in Nevada are just sunshine pumpers. And I'm like, well, we have the number 1 team in the nation. We have the most talented team in the nation. We have the best coaching staff in the nation. We have a humongous NIL budget. So yeah, I mean, you can call me whatever you want to call me, but the thing that you should call me is right, because that's what I am. But David Sanders Jr. is trending very heavily to Ohio State. And again, I think that, it's not anything Tennessee could avoid, because like I said, the thing that's changed is, the medical program thing is an issue, but the development of Josh Simmons is something that you have to give Justin Fry and Tim Drevno and Mickey Marotti, Ryan Day, because when Josh Simmons got here last year, it was kind of ho-hum 3-star kid from California who ended up at San Diego State. So he obviously must suck, because no good offensive lineman has ever come from anywhere except for Alabama and Georgia, is what I've been told for a long time by people that don't know how to evaluate linemen. But Josh Simmons has risen from late roundish type pick last year, coming into the season probably about a mid-roundish grade, to, he's a first-round lock without the knee surgery. With the knee surgery, if it's a clean MRI at the NFL Combine, it could be a late first-round pick, like a super value pick, where you almost might even think redshirting him for a year. But Josh Simmons was the best tackle in the country when he hurt his knee. And it's not just off of his production, but his upside, because he's got tremendous athletic ability to be able to pass block at left tackle in the National Football League. So the fact that he was playing so well, and the injury happened early in the season at Oregon, or kind of that first third of the season, he's going to declare for the draft, and he's going to get his knee fixed. And he's going to go to the Combine, and he's not falling out of the middle of the second round. There's no way a guy that talented, he'd be a top 15 pick if he didn't get hurt. So again, so that opens up a slot at left tackle. And again, if I'm David Sanders' parents, I'm like, well, wow, look what they did with that kid who came from San Diego State. What could they do with my kid? Oh, the same thing they did with, I don't know, Paris Johnson, DeJuan Jones, Nick Petit-Frere, Thayer Munford. That's 4 guys that have started at tackle in the NFL this year. Some of them, Thayer and DeJuan have been injured, so obviously they're not starting today, but the rest of those guys are all starting in the NFL. So do you want to risk it and go somewhere where you hope that they might be able to be good? This is kind of like, JJ Smith last year. There was a lot of flirting from Florida State, and I was like, do you think JJ, again, if you have Brett Getz and these SFE guys in your corner, do you really want them to go to Florida State? If he would have gone to Florida State, they fired their offensive coordinator, they fired their wide receivers coach this year, and JJ would be in purgatory, getting ready to hit the portal and try to do it over again. Or do you just fix the mistake and just come here? Like, again, it's like Jordan Seaton. Like, Jordan Seaton was terrible for Colorado yesterday. And again, that good luck. I hope you have fun blocking for a true freshman quarterback next year when they get Juju Lewis there, because it's going to be ugly. But again, that's, if your kid's good enough and he can go play for Justin Fry, and if Justin Fry gets the head coaching job at Ball State, then you're going to get Tim Drevno as your new line coach. He's already in the facility embedded. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you turn that down, because again, you're trying to mitigate risk as best you can as a parent and as a player. Obviously the medical thing is Ohio State is top tier. And the beauty of these football games, when you host these big time prospects is, when we would have somebody that'd be interested in that track, you can call them and they're already going to be at the game. The top people at the top at our hospitals, they're already at the games because, you have to understand these home football games are magnificent fundraising opportunities for these hospitals. And again, I know you guys pay attention to how much these hospitals cost, and we're always building new ones and we're raising money for research. Like, they're hosting their biggest donors at these. So, if I'm Ryan Day or Justin Fry or Mark Pantoni or whoever, I call over there and I get someone who's, at the top of the food chain, and I say, hey, at 11:15, could you meet me in the end zone with David Sanders? And I'd like to introduce you to him. He'll be standing with, I don't know, Ross Bjork and Monica Johnson and Ryan Day. And if you could come up and say, hi, I run the hospitals and the medical center or whatever, like someone who's a dignitary who's and I'm hosting, 3 huge, donors, and I'd like for you to meet them as well. And that's powerful. Like, that's how you run a real recruiting trip when you're trying to really help out these people, because that impresses the parents, it impresses the kid. Like I said, it's not an accident when he walked down to the side of the stadium that he had Ross Bjork, our athletic director, with him, because again, Ross Bjork is a really sharp guy. He knows how important it is to have great tackles and win in the trenches, and he's at Ryan Day's disposal, because again, this would be a big flip. And like I said, when people are miserable for no reason in July or August or whenever he committed, I'm like, guys, just take a breath. Let's see how the season finishes out. Because the thing about us is, we get to be really good in November in general. Now, at the end of the last 3 years where Michigan cheated, they beat us, whatever. But other than that, we're like Mariano Rivera when it comes to November. And I think we're back to that. And again, I don't think Oregon wants to see us again in 2 weeks. So, but we'll see. Nevada, do you have any thoughts on that? I'm going to bust a little bit of film out, and we have a ton of super chats coming in. Any thoughts?
Yeah, no, just look, we'll be fine whatever David Sanders decides. I said that when he committed to Tennessee. I'm not worried. I love our guys. I like the guys that we have, but having a guy like that obviously would be great. And but that's the good thing with the Ohio State machine is it just keeps on rolling along, and it's not dependent. And somebody put on the message board, getting Sanders was just as important as beating Indiana yesterday, and I'm like, no. I mean, beating Indiana yesterday was everything. That was the season. That was the protecting the Big Ten championship, seeding, reputation. I mean, everything was on the line. Getting David Sanders, just I think we're getting him, and that'd be great, and I'll be happy about it. But this Buckeye team's doing work, and a lot of people want to be a part of it. And David Sanders isn't the only top kid that's relooking at Ohio State, and we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Winning the games is everything. Because again, I genuinely feel bad for the kids that don't take the opportunity to come to Ohio State with the culture that's going on right now. Because you look around at kids that we've lost, Jordan Seaton. I mean, that thing's gonna crater when Travis Hunter leaves. Let alone Shador. They got the freshman 5-star quarterback. He's gonna be a freshman next year, and Shador at least had the luxury of being a freshman at Jackson State. He wasn't in the white hot spotlight of being under Coach Prime and trying to replace Shador, which will be a disaster. I can predict that easily next year. Let alone the left tackle from, and it's escaping me right now, from Alabama, who Caden Proctor. Caden Proctor was a guy that was interested in here, and he ends up going to Alabama, then transferred to Iowa for the offseason, comes back to Alabama, and they're done, and that program is going to be in a tailspin just because. That's going to be, if they lose the Iron Bowl to Auburn, which they could, that offseason is going to be awful down there, just because they're so used to being in the mix, and with Nick being gone, they are not in the mix anymore. Anything else about it? I'm going to dig into super chats because they're really starting to pile up, and I don't want to get us too far behind because I know that we've got to stop. Any other thoughts before we dig into some super chats?
Now let's super chat away. Let's go.
All right, Daniel O'Leary, thank you for the 5. Bragging about a local boy committing after you pay $10 million is like bragging about buying a date to your brother's wedding. Just saying. Well, that's Michigan and Underwood, obviously. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, if I'm that kid's guardian, I don't know what's appealing. The money's great, but at the end of the day, man, $10 million is a ton of money. Like, don't like, I'm not saying it other than it's a ton of money. But man, like if you go somewhere that doesn't have any skill players, like Michigan, no offensive skill, Colson Loveland's gone, and no running backs, terrible offensive line, and you don't really have like an offensive guru on that staff. I mean, your limit's the sky, man. It's not sky's the limit. Your limit is the sky. Or you go to like Ohio State and we're getting JJ and Ennis and great running backs and active in the portal, and plus like Ohio State's like an it school. I just don't know how you do that. Like I would never send my kid if he can go anywhere. Like he's going to Ryan Day if he's a quarterback. There's no way. I mean, not even Lincoln Riley anymore. Ryan is separated. He's the S tier quarterback developer, and I just don't think that it makes sense. But again, will he be there for his whole career? We'll see. I mean, 2.5 is a lot of money, but if you're not getting developed and you're getting hit a lot, it ain't real fun to do. Nevada, your thoughts again, Daniel? I love the comparison. Bragging about a local boy committing after you pay $10 million is like bragging about buying a date to your brother's wedding. Just saying. What are your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a good get for them, but man, they have a long way to go. They think that he's going to be the answer, man. I'm not even sure he's the question. So yeah, that's a good get for them to keep the hometown kid, but they better add a lot more, and they better fire their coach, because you're not going to win anything with Sharon Moore. I will go on record as saying, and you guys can play this back on a loop for Nevada. Nevada's done that. Sharon Moore is never going to win anything of significance being the head coach at Ohio at Michigan. No chance, no way. He'll be gone, and then they'll get them, and then we'll fairly evaluate who the new guy is and the new staff. But they're not going to win. So by the time Underwood gets to be anything, it's going to be, Sharon Moore's going to be gone. It's going to be a brand new staff. So we'll see. Long way to go for Michigan, and that's not even talking about the NCAA stuff. So like I said, long way to go.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Jeremy G, thank you for the 5. Not sure if the SEC is deep or mid, but they have 0 tier 1 teams. I agree. OU/OSU are tier 1. And by OU, I mean Oregon, excuse me. That's why Indiana, Penn State should be in the CFP. Their mid matches SEC mid. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think all 4 of those teams should be in the playoffs. I think Penn State's done enough, and I like Penn State's they've got players, and they can play some really good ball. I think that, I mean, the SEC is bizarre this year, and it's funny because the thing about the SEC that drives me crazy is when teams no show a game, that they always have this like built-in excuse where they're just like, oh well, in the SEC every week anybody can beat anybody. I'm like, no, just because you don't show up and you don't play for a week, that doesn't mean like you can fall back on that crutch where, oh, it's in our conference when you see Ole Miss lose to the Florida Gators, who were dead to rights, like, or LSU lays an egg versus Florida. I mean, I don't know. Like I think that they've got top to bottom. It's a much better conference than the Big Ten, but at the top, our guys can run with anybody. I mean, like Ohio State and Oregon, I'd put them against anybody, including Georgia. For the SEC, the closest thing that they have to someone that would worry me is Georgia, but Georgia, they're very, very front runner ish, where they can shut down Texas, but then they can give up 200 yards rushing to UMass. So I mean, that's when they play a real team like us, they'll be juiced up. But I just don't know about their offense. Like I don't think that they're on the level that we are. But in football, when the talent is equal, and if we play Georgia, we've got equal talent to them, and they've got equal talent to us. So it's whoever plays the best and has the cleanest game. I always say it comes down to turnovers and running the ball and in special teams. Like, I mean, I talked to Jim Tressel for a little bit today about the Michigan game, and he always talked about the game plan, and that was the 3 things he always had on his game plan every week was he'd get all the games from the games we previously played and the games that the team played that season, and it would compare the rushing yards, it would compare special teams, major plays, and it would compare the turnover margin. And that's something that when you play a real team, and again, like I think Georgia is going to win the SEC, and I think that we're going to see them, and that's going to be a team we're going to have to get through. I think that they'll beat Texas again, but again, I could be wrong. I mean, Texas could fix some stuff, but those are the 2 teams that I think are going to be formidable, along with Oregon. But what are your thoughts, Nevada? I think that the SEC, I don't know if I can call them mid because there's some teams that I'd be more worried about playing than Indiana. Like I wouldn't love to see Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss when they're good, they're good. I think Georgia when they're good, they're good. I think A&M's got some talent, but I'm not terrified of it. There isn't a team out there that I'm like, oh my god, I hope we don't see those guys. What are your thoughts on the SEC this year, Nevada?
Well, I think, I mean, I'm probably a little more bullish on the SEC than you are. I mean, I think the SEC is really good. I mean, at the top, you're 100% right. I think Ohio State and Georgia, I mean, excuse me, Ohio State and Oregon can play with anybody, will play with anybody, can go anywhere, anytime. But I think the SEC is a very difficult conference in the middle. At the bottom, even teams like Vanderbilt are getting better, and give some teams some things. They've been a potential punching bag for a long time, and now even they're getting a little bit better. But at the end of the day, yeah, I don't know how do you put in a 3-loss team over a 1-loss Indiana, or that just doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think in life generally, I think you get what you deserve, and I think the Big Ten and Oregon. I mean, if the Big Ten gets 4 tickets to the dance, if they get Indiana, Penn State, Oregon, and Ohio State, I mean, we didn't really deserve more than that. I think these things has a way of working itself out, and I think the Big Ten certainly has been respected all year by the College Football Playoff Committee, and I think that'll continue on into the playoff.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Indiana should get in. I mean, they've got a good record, and like I said, like what's their loss? Okay, they had to come to Columbus and play the best team in the country, and and they made mistakes, and they had the special. And again, that all counts. But they played their worst game, at a bad time. And again, I think that we had a lot to do with it, including our crowd. I thought our crowd was excellent. It was loud. I think they'll be deafening this weekend. Because again, the thing that you see with the crowd is that when our crowd is energized and invigorated and deafening and loud, all of a sudden it's a lot easier for our defense to run pressure packages because you have to understand when an offense goes on a silent count like Indiana did, you don't have as many cadences in a silent count. You either go on, the little guard, he puts his arm out and that gives the signal to go. But they literally went on that every time. So, our guys are really sharp, including Jim Knowles, who's, as sharp of a coordinator as we've ever had here. And they said, hey, they only have one cadence for the noise, for when they have to go on the silent count. And again, that's something that they're not used to doing that because they're not used to playing in loud buildings because teams don't get loud for Indiana because it's Indiana. It's not Oregon. It's not Ohio State. Like Ohio State, we have to deal with that every week because, again, we're like Mick Jagger walking into the bar. The place goes crazy. Like when you're just, some schmo, a cruise ship singer. Like Indiana's a cruise ship singer. We're Mick Jagger. There's a big difference. That guy walks into the bar, nobody knows who he is. When Mick Jagger walks in, everybody knows who he is. So again, the noise, it helped the pressure packages. And you could see it because our guys could trigger as soon as the guy lifted his head up to snap the ball and you saw the guard move his arm, our guys were they were off the mark fast. And again, that makes a huge difference when you don't have to worry about a cadence getting switched. Because again, when a team's got your cadence and you can't change it because it's too loud, it turns into an avalanche. And that's what happened yesterday. So again, kudos to Jim Knowles and kudos to Cody Simon and Jack Sawyer and Ty Leak. And I mean, Ty Leak was eating those guys alive because Ty Leak really studies the cadence because he's 3 techniques right next to the ball. But he was getting off on the mark quick and he was getting in that backfield doing what Ty Leak does because I love me some Ty Leak.
Hey, Mr. Barton, we do have credit to Uncle Buck, the famous Uncle Buck, one of the great posters on our site. He texted me that for the information from Sean Sparks, who's like a really credible Tennessee insider at Vault, who just posted, "Well, kiss David Sanders goodbye." So that is what the Tennessee insiders are saying. They're saying kiss David Sanders goodbye, which I guess means Ohio State kiss David Sanders hello. And again, I want to credit Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck, feel better. Uncle Buck he's been sick. He got bit by a dog and sick. So which is a bad combination. So he should be back posting anytime now. But he coming strong with the Vault Tennessee insider information.
Uncle Buck is the best because Uncle Buck, man,
Uncle Buck is the best. He's the best.
Uncle Buck. Nobody flies off the handle quicker than Uncle Buck, man. I love and Uncle Buck. If you're listening, I love you. And if you guys don't know our message board, you guys don't know Uncle Buck is the most passionate Ohio State fan on this earth. And so when we give up a touchdown to Akron, he wants everybody. He's like Julius Caesar. He wants everybody crucified in the middle of the field. Anyone that was on the field for that, they need to be killed immediately. I'm like, no, we're gonna be okay. Just go get some fresh air and take a deep breath. We'll be okay. But again, I love our fan base. Our fan base is passionate, man. And whew, but like I said, we're just here for the folks. We try to give you guys the truth and keep you guys. This is what's really happening, and this is why you should be happy and excited. But yeah, Ohio State football, buy stock. It's like Bitcoin at $5, right, Nevada?
More like 2,000, 2,100. Yeah.
If they say cancel the transaction, do not do it.
Do not listen to me. Don't listen to me.
Don't listen to them. You should put that money in.
Put that through. Put that trade through.
Put that in Sharon Moore stock. Moore. All right. Let's go to Doug Zilla. Appreciate you, my man. All right, thanks for the 5. Was he freaked out by the body farm at Tennessee, like the movie The Blind Side? That's hilarious. Nevada OH.
I
haven't heard that, but that would be hilarious because I mean I remember that was the thing with Michael Orr that they've got the cadaver farm, and I think some kids aren't really about that life when it comes to crazy. Paul Lewis, what's up, brother? I hope you're doing good, feeling good. I hope you're drinking some of that high-end, expensive, beautiful wine that you like. All right, Nevada, here we go. Paul Lewis, my guy. He says, hi guys, 3rd and 40, 4th and 10, first down. Wow, when was that? When was the last time we pulled that one off? And again, I didn't want to say that was the game, but I was in the stadium and it was like you could see the air leave the balloon on Tennessee, or on Indiana's sideline during that sequence, because like we get that stupid block in the back, and then we had another penalty. So I mean, I was sitting in the Nevada box, and I was sitting there, and it was like, and I was sitting next to Jerry Coquette, and I said, 3rd and 35, you call the play. And I was like, and I laughed, but I was like, you just got to get half of it. Just try to get 17. And we got like 20 of it. Because we got like to the original marker. We got like 25 yards on Carnell Tate's little deal. And then we converted it. And I'm telling you, like, the stadium went crazy. The players were going crazy on the field. Like, I mean, like they're doing the old, the stadium went ballistic. And I thought, I was like, could you imagine being an underdog and you haven't beaten Ohio State in the last 40 tries and you get them at 3rd and 35 and they convert? Like, I mean, you want to talk about demoralizing and diffusing and putting the fire out. Like, that's it. Because you're like, wow, these guys converted on something. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we've done it before. I can't remember a situation where we've converted on 3rd and 35. I could be wrong. Now, again, without a penalty. This isn't like we got a 5-yard defensive holding call or some automatic first down. We literally had to go earn it all. Nevada, do you remember a situation like that ever? And again, I appreciate you, Paul. Thank you, brother. I can't remember something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 3rd and 40. And yeah, I've never seen it not in Ohio State. I don't think I've ever seen it anywhere, anytime. It might have happened, but I sure as heck can't remember it. And I mean, the ironic thing is that drive ended with us getting stopped on the 1 yard. So we didn't even cash it in, which is kind of the irony for a team that's been as proficient as we've been in the red zone, as good as we've been about cashing stuff in. That one ended with one of Chip Kelly's. We broke it down last night, but that was not a great play call there on the 4th and 1 at the 2-yard line. But yeah, it's certainly a memorable play. Would have been more memorable had we put that. The way the game ended up was beautiful, and yeah, anytime beat Indiana by 23, yeah, that's a really good day.
Yeah, it's a great day. Yeah, we got Paul. We got a bunch more of these. I want to dive into the film room real quick because I wanted to break down. I'll come back to you, Sonny N, when I get back. But I want to break this play down. This is our first touchdown. Will Howard has been incredible, and again, I don't think there's a section of this fan base that doesn't deserve Will Howard because they don't realize how good this guy is. I mean, he wins the national title. He's the best quarterback in school history, and it's not even close. Now, that's a long ways away. I get that, but that's where this guy is trending, and he should be the Heisman favorite, but we don't promote him because we have an incompetent sports information guy. But I mean, talk about a dime, Nevada. I mean, can you throw it any better than this? I mean, this is right in the bucket to Mecca. Mecca gets a nice little release here, gets loose, right over the shoulder, right over the guy's hand. I mean, that's as good as it gets. Protection's good. Tigre has a little breakdown. Again, Tigre's brain farts wear me out. But yeah, let's get to the back end. And again, this is good protection. And again, Austin Sauerveld was excellent yesterday, I thought. They've got this 5-man front where you got to kind of match it, and then Trey has to scan. It's a play action pass where Trey kind of aborts it to see if this guy's coming. So he's looking here to back over here. This guy's really late, so Trey decides to take off. But the protection is excellent. It's great by Josh Fryer. He's soloed up out here. The one that drives me crazy is Tegra, because he's on this guy and he just lets them, like, they're running a game right here. But it's so late, like, he needs to stay on this. Like, I mean, Tegra's thinking that this is going to be a twist game, but when you're off levels, like when Carson's this high and you're this low, like, you're not going to switch it. So you got to ride this out. So again, he's still learning. And we still get through it. And that's 6. So that's a good job on 6, who's their best guy, Kamara. But again, you muck it up just enough, which is great. Everything's all mucked up, and Will just drops a dime right in the basket. As good as you can throw it, Nevada. I want to get that one in there because I loved, that was right in front of, the tunnel that we come out, and it was kind of right in front of, where the Nevada box is. And I'm just telling you, like, I watched that and I was like, that is an incredible throw. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Will started out the game 14 for 14, ended up with 85% completion. Yeah, he's a special quarterback. He's a special quarterback, a special kid. I don't know. We posted on our board his post game interview. If you haven't seen his post game interview, do yourself a favor, Google that, go to YouTube or wherever and do it. I mean, he knows what to say. He could be so completely genuine and always says the right thing. Always says or just gets it, man. He gets the rivalry. For a guy that's only been here less than a year, he understands it, man. He gets the depth. He feels the pain. You can just tell he wears on his shoulder the responsibility of kind of easing the pain of these guys over the past 3 years. And he's bound and determined to do it on Saturday. I think they all are. We're going to exercise a lot of demons on Saturday, and Nevadabuck and the clan is going to be there to watch it all. And I can't wait. I'm so excited. I get in the car and start driving right now. Let's go.
Yeah, he like I said, the lack of hype around him is astounding because you watch a lot of you guys watch NFL football on Sundays like we do, and I watch quarterbacks and I'm like, are some of these guys really better than Will Howard, like Gardner Minshew and the guy that the 49ers started today? Are they really better than Will Howard? Do people really think Tommy DeVito? I mean, I don't know. Like if JJ McCarthy is a first round pick and Will Howard isn't, or he's whatever, mid round, late round, whatever he is, I don't see the difference other than I think that Will's way better than JJ McCarthy. I think he throws it better. I think he's a better leader. We throw it up here. Like at Michigan, they ran the ball. That was their thing. They ran it. They protected JJ. And he still was a top like 20-ish pick. So again, I don't know. Like, but I mean, Will Howard's the guy. If you could buy stock in him, you buy all of it because I just don't know how he's not successful at the next level. I really don't. Because I think his mobility and his ability to move when there's pressure in the pocket and still make a play downfield is something that in the NFL, that'll be like an absolute godsend for him in his career longevity. So, but I appreciate you guys. I just want to share that real quick. Sunny N, thank you for the deuce. Appreciate you, my friend. Kirk, how do you think we attack the team up north's defense, especially the D-line? I think that you got to get on the edge. You got to run Will Howard. Like, I think you have to attack the edges. I think their ends are lackluster compared to, and they haven't had good ends for a few years now. And I'm talking like, when I played a million years ago, like they had Lamar Woodley, who should have been a first rounder, one second rounder, NFL Pro Bowler. They had Brandon Graham, who's still playing in the NFL. That's who I won against my senior year. First rounder. They haven't really had those guys in a while, but their interior guys are good. So you got to give them respect. And we're young on the inside, they're a veteran on the inside, so that's a matchup where you can exploit getting on the edge. And again, I would run Will Howard on the edge. I would get Emeka going on the edge. We ran that jet sweep to JJ. I think getting JJ, some touches in the reverse game is good because JJ is not your average, mamma jamma. I mean, he's 6'4" and 225 pounds, and when he gets the ball with a head of steam running at a cornerback, like that cornerback's gonna soil his draws. So I mean, I hope they're wearing the blue pants instead of the yellow pants so that they don't see it, because JJ on the loose is terrifying. So like I said, I love being able to go against D tackles. I think they're easy to game plan for. Again, I think that you slide to 55. You put, if he's over Austin, they flip. They're not on one side all the time. But you got to go to wherever 55 is and have Carson double team, in the slide protection that way. And if Wink Martindale wants to blitz, then God bless him, because Will Howard's been excellent versus the blitz, gets rid of the ball quick, and you got to cover man to man in the back end with Emeka and JJ, and you're gonna get destroyed if you try to do that. So I hope Wink's feeling crazy and does that, because that'll make our lives a lot easier. D Sunny, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you, my friend. Oh God, here we go, Nevada. This is great. Nevada's Gus Johnson voice yesterday had me in tears, up there with his Michigan fan voice and Kirk's NFL scout. Wow, he threw the ball far voice. Nevada, your Gus Johnson was pretty on point, because again, I used to really love Gus Johnson, and I'm not trying to be a hater or whatever, but it's like he seems genuinely miserable during Ohio State games now. When he used to used to love us. He used Carr, Dale Jones, and the rest, but I mean, God, I don't know if it's because he's here 5 times a year or what it is, but he seemed miserable during the game. I don't know if it's because our fans pick on him or what it is, but I don't know. What are your thoughts about it? And your Gus Johnson voice was pretty funny.
Well, thank you for the compliment. No, it's just overplayed. It's like a joke. It's like the hot Tui girl or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, the first couple of times you see it, you're like, oh wow, that's pretty funny, and then after a while, she just becomes annoying. Well, that's kind of how it was with Gus Johnson. I mean, when he first started doing it, it was so organic and just so natural, and it kind of flowed through, and you're like, wow, that's kind of unique. Wow, I'm kind of enjoying it. But now everything just feels so contrived. Every play is like the greatest play in the history of plays that could have ever been a play, and he's just annoying. So yeah, I don't know what you do about it, because that is the kind of the flagship guy for Fox, and we're going to get a lot of him and a lot of Klatt, and Klatt kind of prattling on about a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I'm trying to think about who I like as an announcer though. Who do honestly, I'm going to say it. I like Jake Butt. I do like Jake. Now, maybe
Jake Butt is fantastic.
Yeah, maybe he gets to the point where he starts annoying me in the future. But right now, I really like Jake Butt, and so, but more Butt, less Gus Johnson.
Well, I think tight ends make really good announcers, because I think Greg Olson, who I was a teammate with in Chicago, does a great job. Jake Butt, when you're a tight end, you have to understand the running game and the passing game. So I think he gives you a different viewpoint. I don't mind Brady. Again, I'm talking NFL now, but like I like some of these guys they're getting better. But yeah, I think Jake Butt does a great job. James, like when James Laurinaitis was doing color, I thought he was the best. But obviously now he's coaching our linebackers. But I don't know. Like I think that the hardest part with Gus is I think he just tries too hard. It's not authentic. He tries to come up with nicknames all the time, and some of them fall flat. And plus, I think our fan base can be vicious, and I think they've been vicious towards him. And plus, when he had to sit and explain the world famous Ohio State thing because of the Jesse Owens, like, I mean, I get it, but you're only gonna endear yourself to one fan base when you call us the world famous Ohio State Buckeyes, because if you go to China, I don't know how many people there know what Ohio State is. Like, we're not. I mean, we're a big brand, but it's not like we're the Lakers or the Yankees or Real Madrid, but we're big. We're big, but I mean, like, I don't know if we're a global brand where people are rocking Ohio State as like a fashion statement, like they do the Yankees and stuff. So, but again, I could be wrong, and I'd be happy to be proven wrong. So yeah, D Sonny, I love you, my man. Thank you for being on here all the time, and thank you for always bringing the heat with your questions. I appreciate you, brother. And I'll see you soon. Chester, thank you for the 5. Fong said Ohio State is expected to flip Sanders in a recent video, and also heard some smoke around Justin Hill flipping to us. Is that legitimate? Well, Nevada, we talked about that last week, and we did a video last week where we talked about 5 stars potentially flipping, and I mentioned David Sanders and Justin Hill. So don't call Nostradamus making a comeback, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's one of those things where, I mean, we literally talked about it last week, and oh, Kirk, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, well, Tennessee's gonna hit the side of the mountain here pretty quick, and they're not going to be any good. And Justin, and dude, like, if you commit to Alabama, and I feel bad for these kids that are dumb and they get bad advice. Like, Alabama is going to go back to they're going to be partying like it's 2006 again, and they're going to be totally irrelevant. Like I always tell people, when I played at Ohio State 1,000 years ago in the early 2000s, from 03 to 07, Alabama was never relevant. Nobody cared about Alabama. They weren't. I mean, they might have been a fringe top 25 team. I mean, there were MAC schools that were rated higher than Alabama at that point. But that's where they are now. And again, I cannot wait to see that transfer portal. That transfer portal is going to open up. It's going to look like in Ghostbusters when the city official comes and turns the power off in the fire station, and all the ghosts and goblins go flying out of the containment center. That's what Alabama's transfer portal is going to look like. All the ghosts and goblins are going to be leaving Bryant-Denny Stadium and Nick Saban Hall, or whatever their building's called, and they're all going to be flying out of there saying, I need to go somewhere where they're good. And Ohio State, do you still love me? Would you still take me? And I'm like, just go to Ohio State in the first place. You'll be fine. Because again, the culture is what matters. As much as, I want to play for this coach and all, I'm like, dude, what's the culture like there? And Alabama's decaying rapidly. So when you're a kid from Ohio, Dayton, and you go to Alabama, like, have fun. I hope you guys like losing to Vandy. I mean, if that doesn't tell you to get out, then I don't know what will, but can't say I didn't tell you so. Nevada, your thoughts? And again, I don't know. I think you'll probably take this as the kiss of death if Fong says that Ohio State's expected to flip Sanders, because that's like the mush. That's like been me with some of my soccer bets recently, where it's like, I'm the mush. Like, it's, you do the opposite of whatever he says. But I heard some smokes around Justin Hill flipping to us. Is that legitimate? What are your thoughts, Nevada?
Look, I think there's a number. David Sanders, as we said at the top of the show, I believe David Sanders is a Buckeye. I believe he's going to be part of the class. And so, yay, I'm excited. And there are others. I think for Ohio State, I mean, look, there's a bunch of names that you could throw out. If we're throwing out names, you can throw out Dorian Brew. You can throw out Hill. You can throw, I think there's going to be a number of guys. As you said, Ohio State is the hot team, the now team. And I know Michigan's going to get every top recruit now that they've got Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison's pledged every dollar that he has to giving every recruit $100 million. And so they're going to be the best team of all time. But after they feast to get all the players, we'll still get a few table scraps. And I think we'll be okay.
Isn't that funny how that's like the thing now?
Yeah.
They're gonna shake down Larry Ellison. I'm sure that'll go great. Like, he cares, but he doesn't care that much. Like, eventually, when a guy's spending that kind of money, he wants to make some sort of a profit, not just feed you. Stacy J, thank you for the 18. Hope you're good. Oh, I love when you do this. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Stacy. You're the best. 18 for Will Howard. I love that. During the press conference, he said he cannot wait to beat the team up north for the guys that came back and for Coach Day. He's a class act, and I just love him. Nevada OH. Yeah, I mean, he's like Justin Bieber with like a cannon for an arm and fast legs that can run fast. But he is like I said, he reminds me a lot of Troy Smith. Like I told people, I was like, he's a leader. He runs that team. He might even be more polished than Troy at a press conference, but he does everything right. And you can tell the guys love playing for him. They believe in him. And again, I played with quarterbacks that were terrible leaders, that weren't good. And I played with Troy. And, Troy, obviously, Heisman winner and just an absolute dog, all-time legend who could just shred it. And again, that's what drives me crazy is I'm like, why do people not see Will Howard in the same lines as Troy during his Heisman campaign, other than the fact that they lost to a team that was better than any team we played that year, other than the Michigan team? Like they've had 3 top 5 wins. He's 80% over 6. He's completed 80% of his passes 6 times this year. Like, that's unheard of. That's insane. and it's just like he's just like, oh, ho hum. Like I don't know where this narrative's coming from. But again, we don't do anything to build the momentum towards the Heisman campaign. So he's like, plus, 50,000 to win the Heisman. And everyone's like, well, Travis Hunter has to. I was like, Travis Hunter lost again yesterday. Like, again, is it just like the best two-way player now? Is that what it is? Or is it the most valuable player in the best team? Because to me, if Travis Hunter left Colorado or Will Howard left Ohio State, like, I know it would have a bigger impact by far. It'd be Will Howard leaving. Like, Travis Hunter leaving, like, they'd still be kind of the same. They'd be a cute little team that's going to win, however many games, and they'll still lose a ton of games that they should win because they're not that great. But like with us, we lose Will Howard, man. It's a bad day now. It's like the Chiefs losing Pat Mahomes. A bad day. But people don't realize how good he is. So your thoughts, Nevada. Stacy talking about Will talking about he wants to beat Michigan for the guys that came back and coached today. Anything else left to say about Will Howard?
Yeah, no, just you could just hear the raw emotion in his voice when he said that, and it was. I mean, honestly, I was getting kind of choked up listening to him because, like, you could tell like how much he really cares about these guys and how much he really wants to come out and play well for them. And so I think he will. I hope he will, and I'm confident he will. So yeah, Saturday's going to be special for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, and like last year, I had to listen to people try to tell me that Kyle McCord was good. And I was like, no, he's not. I've been around good quarterbacks. I know what a good quarterback looks like. And when we got Will Howard in December, I was like, this is a gargantuan upgrade. I can't even. And again, I was right. Again, I watched the tape and I was like, this guy. And then you throw Chip Kelly in there and the fact that we're going to run this guy. I mean, devastating. And again, I love that he ran in that last touchdown because, again, makes the stats look a little prettier. But again, I just think that's something that Michigan better get ready for. So they're going to see a big a dose of Will Howard's legs, which is going to be fantastic. Fancy, thank you for being an Ultra member. Thank you for the 20. Appreciate you, my friend. Can you guys call the game next weekend in real time so we don't have to listen to the likes of Gus and Joel? I caught a game when you did before, and it was great. Pretty please. So we're going to be at the game, so I might be able to call the second half, but I'm not going to be able to call the whole game. But if we did that for the Alabama-Michigan game, and that was like a 4-hour live stream. That was a long one, and we were dying. And it was, and of course, Alabama lost because we were like, oh, this will be great. Alabama's going to beat Michigan, and we can celebrate. But again, if you guys like the streaming, put it in the comments. I mean, we could consider doing a game watch party in the future at some point. I mean, we're going to have playoff games, Big Ten championships. Like, I'm not opposed to it. I like it. It's obviously easier if you guys have YouTube TV like I do, so that it's kind of synced up a little bit. So I'm not too, a minute ahead of you or 30 seconds ahead of you because I don't want to ruin the game. But what are your thoughts about it? There are some people that liked our live stream we did for that Alabama game.
Yeah, I'm still recovering, man. My body's recovering, but still, I'm getting older, man. I'm not
dialysis on your kidneys after that.
Yeah, I may need to get hydrated. Maybe set up with an IV and a catheter or something like that, and just put it, or just some Depends, and I'll just soil myself as we go through the thing. But yeah, it's that was grueling. That was grueling. Not sure I'm ready. It's kind of like Rocky when at the end of the match he's like, "Ain't gonna be no rematch." It's like you don't want one. Yeah. No.
I don't want to have to train in Siberia again for my next live stream.
No. He's just a man. He's not a machine. Yeah.
You're doing lunges with like a log on your back to get yourself ready to go.
Like Scooby, right?
Exactly. Sergio Sama, thank you for the 5. Love scoring at the end. Love trolling Siggy. Not with the nice BS. Will sets the tone. Can't wait for retribution on Saturday. I loved it too. I wasn't mad about it. And again, it'd be one thing if those guys had some humility, but they didn't. I mean, the coach loves himself, which is fine. Obviously, they're winning at Indiana, whatever. But there's nothing humble about that program. And again, that's fine. You can carry yourself however you want to. But when the big bad wolf shows up, all of a sudden it ain't no fun when the rabbits got the gun. That's what we were. We showed up, and it's like, yeah, you gotta see what a real team looks like, and we showed it to them. Sergio Sama, thank you for the 5. Happy for Jelani scoring a touchdown. Love the Spider-Man hands celebration, but is he kind of uncoordinated or weak hands? He's always bobbling the ball. I don't know. That's like the one thing with Johnny that was driving me nuts is that he cost Will an interception when the ball's right in his hands, and in the stat sheet that goes down for Will as a pick. But I'm like, I don't know, Nevada. Your thoughts on Jelani? Because I just put him on the jugs machine, man. Have him do it like JJ does. I mean, JJ doesn't drop anything except for the first pass of his career. Your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, Jelani fights the ball. I mean, he's like Christian Watson out there for the Packers. I mean, he just fights it, and gets his hands all kind of messed around. But that's coaching. They got to coach him out of it. We've talked about, and again, I don't want to get on banging on the tight ends coach, but like when you've got a guy that's a physical freak of nature like Jelani, you can coach somebody to be a better catcher of the ball. It's about technique and practice. That's all it is. You hold them to the technique, you put in the practice, and you get better catching the ball. But Jelani fights it right now, and that's why he bobbles it every time it comes. He's like a goalie that fights the puck and just leaves pucks out there in the crease. So go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I would hire Chris Carter as a consultant, have him come in twice a year and teach those guys. And again, it's not just about catching the ball, but like when we had Chris on in an interview, and he taught me about how he stretches fingers and what he looks at, and I was like, I learned more about catching a football in 7 minutes from Chris Carter. And again, I played tight end in high school, so I had kind of a clue about it. But like, there's a whole art to it, and there's a lot of stuff you can do that makes it easier to catch a football. Like I never guessed about stretching your fingers and the webbing, and like I mean again, he's the greatest hands in the history of the sport, and so he had a process. He was a guy jugs for 40 minutes after every practice, owned a jugs machine. I mean he kind of made the jugs machine what it is, because now you see everybody on a jugs machine after practice, but Chris was the first guy that really started doing that. So really good. D Sunny, thank you for the 10. Will and Ryan seem to be on the same page because QB1 and head coach are the only ones with a record behind their names. Do they usually have a deeper relationship than the others on the team? Yeah, usually. I mean, you want your offensive coordinator and your play caller to have a pretty deep relationship, just because it's a one-to-one thing where when you're calling the plays, you got to make sure that it's stuff that the quarterback likes and he's good at and he's confident. Because the worst thing you can do is if you're a play caller, you call something and the quarterback doesn't believe in it. He doesn't believe in the plan. He's worried about the receiver not running the route correctly, which again at Ohio State's not an issue with Brian Hartline and Emeka Egbuka and JJ Smith, but in the NFL that's a huge issue if you don't have guys that believe in the plan. So I think that there's a lot of alignment between Chip Kelly, Ryan Day, and Will Howard, and it's paying huge dividends for us right now. Lee, thank you for the 10. I appreciate you, my friend. I hope you're doing great. Kirk, Nevada, was today the last day for those shooters to respond to the NOA? I think it's tomorrow. Do we have any leaks on what's going on behind closed doors? Either way, screw blue and go Bucks. Nevada OH. Is that tomorrow, Nevada?
It's one of
Monday,
these days.
Tuesday.
Yeah, today, tomorrow, Tuesday, something like that. But yeah, it's definitely imminent. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Sean Schrock, thank you for the 5. You've been ultra member. Thanks for being a great moderator on here as well. Appreciate you, brother. Will Underwood stay at Scum if they have a 3-year bowl ban? I can't see that happening. Nevada, there's no way, correct?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get a 3-year bowl ban. I think they'll get a 2-year bowl ban. But I mean, who knows? It depends on how the money, what the structure of the deal is there for that. I think he'll start at Michigan, but I don't think he'll end at Michigan. I think, I'm going to say, I really think that whole situation is just going to end badly, because throwing a quarterback in like that right off the bat and expecting him to be the savior of your program, man, what could possibly go wrong with that? And I think the answer is a lot of things.
Yeah. Studley Budley, thank you for the 5. I think the Buckeye is going to tee off on those snowmen. I agree. That candy. Oh wow, is that a donkey emoji? That's amazing. Line is going to melt with all that heat. Nevada OH. Totally agree with that. Yeah, I think it's gonna be ugly, and I think that our guys aren't gonna let off the gas, which is gonna be awesome. B Moses, thank you for the 5. Love the Mick Jagger and cruise ship. I give Simon Crowell credit for that one, because he used to always say that. It sounds very cruise ship singer-ish. So I took that from him. Spot on. Might have to make a meme for this. Appreciate y'all. If you guys don't watch Brandon Moses' show that leads into this, he's a huge part of Buckeye Scoop. He's on the message board. Exceptional talent. Hilarious. Great person. Love you to death, B Moses. And he also had a great show yesterday with Jalen Marshall and Jalen's brother. That was a live cast. So make sure you guys check that out. That one up last night. But again, B Moses, you are a superstar in the making, and we appreciate you, brother. Love you, my dude. Big Red Buck, thank you for the 20. Are we locked in to the Rose Bowl for our playoff game? I don't know. Nevada, do you know that one?
I don't. I haven't spent enough time studying that. And it's funny because I got asked that question um, by my wife, and I was like, I don't even want to look at it because I don't want. It's like almost I don't
You
want
don't
to
want to
jinx
jinx
it.
it. Yeah, you don't want to jinx
Yeah,
it.
I don't. I had trouble even ordering my Big Ten championship game tickets because we didn't want to jinx it. I talked it over with the guy that Buck, who I share the suite with, and we are like, do we really want to jinx it? And I'm like, the heck with it. We're ordering those Big Ten championship game tickets. So we got
That's
Big
right.
Ten championship game tickets. We got college football playoff tickets, and I'm going to find out whether or not we're locked into the Rose Bowl or not. I'm gonna do my research tonight and get the answer to that.
I love it. Survive the Hunt. Thank you for the 5. NOA response to any time now. Will we hear anything before the game at Go Bucks? Well, it could leak, but I mean, with the game coming up, I don't like as much as I care. I just don't. But we could hear something, in the next few days when it's due. Because I know it's due this week, so we'll see if it gets leaked out. We're excited for that. Joe, thank you for the 20. Appreciate you, my dude. Listen to the post game on my way home from the game yesterday. It was great to hear Emeka speak up for Will's Heisman worthy season. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just have no idea how his odds are so low on winning the Heisman. Again, I just look at the draft odds or and Travis Hunter is like the heavy favorite now. Which again, I don't see how Will Howard isn't it. Like, if he's not 1, he should be at least 2. And I get the kid from Boise State's got 2,000 yards, which is great. A bunch of games that nobody cares about, nobody watches, but Will Howard's been incredible. And usually, like when you've got a darling at a darling program, that's how it goes. It doesn't go to Boise State or Colorado. It goes to USC or Oklahoma or Ohio State or Bama. It doesn't go to like a C tier program like Boise State or Colorado. So again, I wish we'd promote the kid. I think it's one of the great disservices of the history of the program that we don't promote Will Howard for Heisman. But again, we have a terrible sports information director in Jerry Imig. And again, there's a reason why Paris Johnson didn't win Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. It went to Peter Skoronsky, who was on 1-11 Northwestern, versus Paris, who got drafted higher, was a better player, starting at left tackle. Skoronsky's a guard. So again, the stupidity never ceases to amaze me. CJ Stroud never won anything. CJ Stroud's pretty good. Never won anything. So yeah, there's a problem going on here. Goldfish, thank you for the 10. Kirk Barton, Collier County, check in. Appreciate you, my man. You're the best. Love it down there. How much different is this team if OSU sticks with this pre-Oregon predictable base defense? Kudos today for allowing Dulles to run his creative stuff. Seed to table is absolute fire. Like I said after the Oregon game, I don't think every loss is bad. Like again, we changed some stuff. Our defense is dominating now. The pass rush and heat have been turned up, and better to get it fixed early in the season than wait till the playoffs when it's too late. And I love everything that we're doing here. So yeah, I love everything that this team is doing. And I studied the pass rush scheme, and it's very difficult to go against. And Indiana found that out firsthand. Buckeye 5, appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for the 5. Yeah, Jameer Brown committed today at his baptism, Nevada OH. Jameer Brown is a 5-star superstar, 2027. He's the first kid from that class to commit. Won't be the last. Again, I think kids like to dive in the boat early and get their seat reserved. And he is a dynamite electric player. He's an Ohio kid, which I love. But he's the best receiver in the country for his class. So we got another one. Very, very excited about it. And again, this is going to be you guys love Christmas, you guys love Black Friday, you guys love Thanksgiving, you guys love all this stuff, but this is going to be the season of giving, and it's going to be giving 5-star commitments to Ryan Day. So I'm very excited about it. So you guys better stay tuned. Nevada, let's wrap this thing up. Nevada's coming back in. But I just want to say real quick, I just appreciate you guys so much. Again, we're very thankful for you guys. This is a show that's been built by you guys, and we're so proud of what we do here. Nevada, we're going to wrap this show up. Any final thoughts?
No, David Sanders, Buckeye. That's it's kind of exciting. You're talking about the consensus #1 player in the country, sort of #1 lineman. Obviously, nice to lay in offensive tackles, a guy that maybe we thought we weren't getting, but now we are getting. And so let the rejoicing begin in Ohio State land. I think we're getting David Sanders, and beyond think we are getting David Sanders, and that's a good get for Justin. I mean, Carter Lowe and Justin and David Sanders as your tackles. That's pretty good tackle class, right? The 2 5-star tackles, and let the rejoicing begin.
That's like hot chocolate in Nevadabuck at the Michigan game. As good as it gets.
Oh, Oh man.
Bring us another
Let's go.
that, please.
Let's
Bring us
go.
another that, please.
Let's go. Let's go.
And betting on the Packers when the 49ers are starting a backup quarterback. Also delicious.
I tried to tell you.
tried to tell you.
I did tell
tried
you.
to
I'm like,
tell
Kurt,
you.
bet the money line. Like, no, I'm afraid.
No, I can't. I spent it all on an Indian UFC fighter.
I know I can't. I mean, don't scare money, don't make money, man. You gotta go.
I know. I'll be back at it tonight. I can't wait. All right, let's wrap the show up. Appreciate you guys as always. You guys are the absolute best. Again, great night tonight. Again, we just we're gonna be cranking every night, 7 o'clock. We're gonna be rolling. The Rolling Thunder of Buckeye Scoop will be going. So I appreciate all you guys, all of our regulars, Steely and the crew, always in here making the chat lit. But I just appreciate you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving week. I know that I went to the war zone that was Costco today, and it was awesome. It actually wasn't bad. Costco is amazingly efficient. So it's a great little trip to get a bunch of our great stuff for Thanksgiving. So I hope you guys are getting everything geared up for a great week. It is Beat Michigan week. It is hate week, and it is nobody that we hate more. It is a war. It was the 10-year war under Woody Hayes, and now the new war is starting with Ryan Day and Sharon Moore, and it is going to be very, very one-sided. I'm excited for Ohio State. Very excited for these players and this coaching staff. We'll have round-the-clock coverage on BuckeyeScoop.com, so make sure you guys sign up for that. Get concierge-level access to Nevadabuck and I 24 hours a day, because we're on that thing all the time. And I appreciate you guys so very much. If you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like. Click subscribe. Also, click that little alert bell. Again, we appreciate all that you guys do. It's a huge show because you guys make it one. Make sure you guys shout out who you guys are watching the show with. Shout out where you guys are watching from. As always, if you're going to do something huge, give us a follow on Apple Podcasts. Is something that's so easy to do, and it really helps us out in a huge way, completely free. And again, I just appreciate you guys so much. You can also do that on Spotify. You can do it on both. You really want to be extra spectacular. So with that being said, thank you so much, Buckeye Nation. Thank you, Scoop family. We will talk to you guys tomorrow, 7 o'clock. We'll be able to roll right into Monday Night Football. Can't wait to see you guys. You guys have a great rest of your night. Go Bucks.